Masters was interesting. I had a little bit of luck in terms of some 6 of 6s in DraftKings lineups. One and done. Matt Fitzpatrick didn't go so hot, but overall, very theatrical weekend of golf. Rory gets the 6-shot lead. Rory gets down by 3 shots. Rory wins his 2nd straight Masters. But the show must go on. We are on to the RBC Heritage at Harbour Town Golf Links. We're going to start with the course preview over at BetSperts. We're going to take a look at some course history. We'll take a look at the odds boards on DraftKings. We'll build a custom model on rickrungood.com, and we'll try to parlay that into a single entry lineup that can make some noise in DFS. Let's get started with the course preview over at BetSperts. So RBC Heritage at Harbour Town. It's a par 71, not the longest course in the world. Driving distance not going to matter a ton. It's a Pete Dye design. It's a relaxed vibe, coming off the Masters. And one of the things about this tournament is after so many of those players were juiced up in the thick of it, it really is hard to win and be in contention the week after, especially since this became a signature event, an elevated event. I think 82 players in the field this week, no cut. So that will obviously shape our strategy in terms of DFS. But this is one where anybody can kind of win, right? It is a smaller field now, so it's more condensed, but you're not necessarily going to just see the Masters type leaderboard where it's, Rory and Scotty and Cam Young, but all of the top guys are playing except for Rory McIlroy. Wouldn't be surprised if Colin Morikawa withdraws by the time the event tees off. He looked like he was in pain, but he showed himself very well at Augusta National last week, fighting through the back injury and placing inside the top 10. This course, tight fairways, numerous dog legs, sharp angles, and flat terrain. One of the things that you'll notice really within all of this is it's all about where you're playing your second shot from, right? You might be in the fairway, but on the wrong side of the fairway, where it might be better to be a little bit into the right rough because you have an angle to the flag. You might be blocked out from the far left fairway with these dog legs, these angles that we're talking about. It's positional accuracy. There's a premium on that off the tee, precise iron shots, pretty small greens, and not only small greens, but a lot of water on this course. If you take a look at some of the measurables, like I said, par 71, not the longest course in the world, 7,200 yards. It's a signature event this year. Small field, no cut. The length, it's the 17th shortest on tour. The water danger, 9th most water danger on tour out of 44 different courses. The fairways are meaningfully narrowed. They're not the most narrow on tour, but they're meaningfully narrow. The greens, the 2nd smallest on tour, just 3,700 square feet. So again, you don't need to be a bomber, and in fact, being a bomber might hinder you if you're not able to control your accuracy off the tee. You can be a shorter hitter. We've seen shorter hitters play well here before. But again, we don't have too much data on this event since it has become a smaller field signature event. This right here says a wide array of devilish bunkers. I would say the bunkers are more of an issue if you're in them off the tee. If you find yourself in fairway bunkers, the bunkers alongside the greens for the most part aren't too treacherous. But again, it's just kind of week to week. What kind of lie do you have? Where is the pin position in relation to where you are in a bunker? So it is what it is. As the field strength has increased, the scoring average has decreased. Makes sense, right? We don't have the weak field players that were coming in here and playing it every year off the Masters. Now we pretty much have the Masters field minus live and then shrunk down just a bit more. Not a birdie fest by any means, but the scoring average since it's been a signature event, about over a stroke and a half better per round. So, take that for what it is. It's not the easiest course in the world. You're not going to see Amex style scores. This isn't La Quinta, but it's also not, US Open layout. So that is what that is. Let's take a look at who's played well here over the years. Andrew Novak right to the top because he finished second to JT in a playoff last year. Take that for what it's worth. I mean, he's never played here except for last year. Scotty never finished outside the top 11 here. A T11, a win, and a T8. Patrick Cantlay, kind of the opposite. Inside the top 15 every year, but doesn't have the win like Scotty has. Daniel Berger, 2 injury-riddled seasons, but this is a course that really plays well to how he plays. Just premier accuracy, and historically has been better around the greens than we've seen this season. But a T13 and T21, 2 years off, and came back with a T3 last year. Mav McNeely, a T4 and a T3 in limited starts. JT, the win and a T5 in his past 2. Jordan Spieth, a win, a second, and another top 20 in his past 4. Sung J M, nothing worse than a T21. Matt Fitzpatrick has played well here with a top 5 and a win. Colin Morikawa, interesting mixed bag. Few bad results, a couple of top 10s. Russell Henley, I think that's up very well for this course. He's like the better version of Daniel Berger. Premier accuracy, not the longest hitter, but you don't need to be. He's going to be smart. He's going to be strategic. He's going to position the ball where it needs to be off the tee. Top 10, a top 20, a top 12, and another top 10 in his past 5 starts. He did have 1 missed cut, but I really like the way this sets up for Russell Henley. I always like Sepp Straka, as you guys know. He's had 2 top 5s here in the past 4 and a top 15 last year. So now that we kind of have set the baseline with the course and who's played well here over the years, let's take a look at the odds board over on DraftKings. Scotty Scheffler coming in just shy of 4-1. Xander Schauffele 15-1. Matt Fitzpatrick 17-1. Cam Young 17-1. Russell Henley rounds out the top 5 at 18-1. Tommy Fleetwood's there at 18-1. Ludwig Oberg, don't really know what to make of him. A really weird week with a lot of boneheaded mistakes at Augusta. 21-1. Colin Morikawa, interesting. Don't know if he's going to play. We saw that number last week balloon north of 50-1, but he comes in at about 23-1 this week. Patrick Cantlay 25-1. Siwoo Kim 28-1. Robert McIntyre off the missed cut 29-1. Jordan Spieth in that really solid course history 30-1. I like the way Victor played. If we're going to have, kind of a dart fest where nobody's just bombing and gouging and it's just going to be who can stick the pin, I like Victor Hovland at 34-1. Sam Burns acquitted himself well last week at 35-1. Sepp Straka, I love this number at 45-1. Jacob Bridgman playing really good golf. I don't know in this strong of a field if I want to wager him at 45-1 with all the top dogs playing. Chris Gotterup, I think that's a beautiful number. I think he's a better player at this stage than Jacob Bridgman. Obviously, multiple wins this season and just a really nice start to 2026, 53-1. I think that's a very fair number. I think a lot of people are going to be off Shane Lowry this week. This number might drift. I would not be surprised if you can catch a 65-1. Kind of fits that same Daniel Berger, Russell Henley mold where he's supremely accurate. I mean, we've seen all his aces over the years, including last week at Augusta, but not the longest hitter in the world, and a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths after he shot an 80 on Sunday for the 2nd consecutive year. Michael Thorbjornsen, I don't think this is the course for him. He is really good when his distance can shine. I think Nick Taylor could play well here, although he has not over the years. I love this number on Corey Connors at 90-1. How has he fared well here over the years? We're trending in the wrong direction. We've gone from a 4th to a 12th to a 31st to a 44th to a 49th, but does have plenty of experience in 30 rounds here. Kind of like the way that this would naturally set up for a player of his mold. Yella Miraju, interesting. In that, maybe Austin Smotherman, short course. Accuracy is going to reign supreme. I don't hate this number on Michael Kim at 230-1. And that's, wow. I mean, listen, I'm going to say it right now on stream. I'm placing this bet. Tom Hoge, 875-1. That seems disrespectful to me. Not having his best year, but a guy, again, if we shorten it and we don't make distance what is the most important factor, and we just say, hey, put it in the fairway and then just see who can have a dart contest from the fairway to the pin, you gotta give me Tom Hoge some respect. 875-1 is disrespectful. So I'm gonna place that bet as soon as I get off of here, and definitely like him as a DraftKings play, although the numbers I'm sure will tell a much different story. So with that said, let's go check out those numbers at rickrungood.com. try to build something that's going to make some sense here. We'll always start with some weighted strokes gained total. We will look at approach over the last 36. We will look at fairways gained. And yeah, let's leave it at fairways gained for now. Approach. I want opportunities gained. I want greens gained. Not too worried about around the green right now. We can throw in maybe a little bit of course history because this is a unique course. We're at 60. Let's go. Par 5 scoring. You're going to have to make a little bit of noise here on par 5s, but we won't overdo it. We will look at what else? I know this short approach range is so key here. I kind of want to see these two buckets. I mean, you could even argue these two buckets, but it's not that short. Let's throw some points on these two buckets just to see. We've got 20 more. Bogey avoidance always critical for me. I always want to see that. And then our final 10. Kind of want to throw 5 on. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because we're just weeding out good golfers by doing low apex. Some of the worst golfers are low apex. And let's go tee to green for our final 10 and see where that leaves us. Scotty Scheffler straight to the top. Tommy Fleetwood not far behind. That's interesting. Colin Morikawa rates out well. Russell Henley, as I suspected. Matt Fitzpatrick. I love to see Victor Hovland in there like I talked about. I love to see Corey Connors popping. Daniel Berger makes a ton of sense. Austin Smotherman makes a ton of sense. Sepp Straka. So this is kind of exactly what I would have identified in here. I know they're not going to show any love to my boy Tom Hoagie, and that's all right. We can build without him. Just how low is he? Interesting, Jacob Bridgman not faring well in this model. Mr. Hoagie, where are you? 69th, not good. Who was the cheapest of the guys that rated out well? Smotherman, I guess, at 6,300. And you know, if you're building multiple lineups, you can swap in probably Hoagie at 62 if you just have that inkling that I have. But this is really good. This is a really diverse bunch. I think we can build extremely well from here. I did want to check on Sungjae Im, who seems to be playing a little bit better after the disaster we saw last year. See anywhere in here that we're going to care about? If I haven't seen him yet, I'm assuming this is not good. No, it's not good. So we're going to ignore that. So let's jump over to DraftKings now and see what we can build. And let's just say that we're going to start with Smotherman for the savings. This is a week where I definitely want, you know, some of you might think I'm a Scotty hater because he's simply too expensive most of the time for the way I like to build. But I think two important caveats. I think one, he's priced down. He's not 14.7. He's not 14.5. And number two, we get guys like Smotherman who cannot be cut. So it just takes 1 or 2 good rounds for them to pop, even if they don't play well on Thursday or Friday. We get that DraftKings scoring at 6,300, and we can make some things work. I know we had Connors near the top, who I like a lot. Berger, 73. I think these two guys make sense in my head. And then if we can get them in, we probably have the money for Scotty and at least one more high-end guy. So we get Scotty. Now we're down to 7,950. And where does that leave us? Victor Straka. I mean, I like the way Victor had that hot round last week. He's going to make mistakes. I don't think the around the green is as penal here. We know he's struggled with that in the past. Where can we go? Kitayama, Gerard. I think Gerard kind of fits what we want to do here. Maybe a Gerard and Hovland if the math works there. It does not work. We need 73. I don't love Clark. I don't love Thorbjornsen. Are any of these guys, Stevens, Yalamaraju, either of those guys popping in what we are looking at? No, just Kitayama. It's the highest. The highest guy left is Kitayama. And we can make that work for the purposes of this. But I mean, I would say that's interesting. I mean, I kind of like Gerard at a course like this. So I could say that's where you get weird and you go Gerard, and then you go with my boy Tom Hoagie, who assuredly will finish dead last now because I've been touting him. So something like this works. But if we go back and we just do model based, it's going to be definitely Smotherman and Kurt Kitayama. Yeah, Clark, Thorbjornsen, Stevens, none of those guys popped. But I mean, this works for me. And if there's even 200 that you can bump somebody up, I don't know. We've got Scotty. I know Fleetwood rated out well. We don't have enough to quite get to him. We like Hovland. So I mean, I think this makes sense. There's nobody that I feel like, oh, I wish I could get to. These numbers are kind of broken down how we want. I mean, obviously you can mix and match Smotherman with somebody else. I know people are on Andrew Putnam this week, Michael Kim. So you can have fun with this last spot with 200 left. But I mean, I like this. You get all the win equity of Scheffler. You get Victor Hovland near the top of the odds boards. I personally just like Connors and Berger for a course like this. And then the model's saying rounded out with Smotherman and Kitayama. So I like where we landed there. And hopefully that is a lineup that can find its way to some cash for you all in DFS this week. But let me know who you're thinking for one and done, DFS, outright bets. I'm going to go place that Tom Hoagie bet right now and be excited when he finishes last. Might be able to honestly get a top 10 number on that bet since 875 is so long. Wouldn't be surprised if you could catch a 35 or 40 to 1 on the top 10. So I'm going to go do that. You guys take care. Let me know in the comments what you like this week, what you're rocking with, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.